everyone, it's Carolyn here to share another channeled message from the Light Keepers, a group of angelic beings who I channel for your awakening journey support. So thank you so much for everybody who always joins me and for being here again today. And for those of you who are new, I'm Carolyn. I'm a channel, I'm a distance energy healer, and I'm a spiritual awakening mentor. And the Light Keepers come through me to offer their messages for support on your journey. So that's what I offer you today. And then I give you my takeaways and my experiences so you can kind of have a frame of reference for the channel. So for those of you who are new, check out below in the description box. I offer you a video on 6 tips on how to create flow in your body for health and wellness during your awakening journey, because flow is so important. And when you click on that, you're going to go ahead and get the video. You're going to sign up for my email list, and I give you a couple other emails a week, which is more free content for your learning. So I hope you'll join me in addition to getting that video on 6 tips. So today's channel is on synchronicity, and it's a longer channel. Like I've said lately, they've been longer, and I don't think they've really talked too much about synchronicity in the years that I've actually been doing these channels. So I'm going to also give you some of my experiences, but I often just find synchronicity as one of the most joyous, fascinating parts of our awakening journey. So I think you're going to enjoy this channel, and then I'll give you some of my takeaways too. All right, here we go. And of course, because of the length, there's no way I can post all of the text. So synchronicity, you will find, becomes more complex over time of your awakening because you start to understand the simple things, but the numbers will always be around for most of you in your day. Some may not see numbers too, but other signs and patterns will jump out at you. But understand, in the beginning, simple ways are used of getting you adjusted to being able to communicate and hearing from us in your day. For this comes from your higher self, your angels and guides who are all around you. This is the primary communication of how we will talk to you in your day. During the Great Awakening, numbers are the first things you will see, and synchronicity will come your way of patterns and things that come into awareness in your day, and that you may not understand and think it could not ever be real. And then you will find in the days to come patterns and other information on this thing that you wondered about that came in your way. This is the pattern of synchronicity in your day. This is what to watch for, particularly when complex things come to you. And when you see a patterned observance of something in your day, you will know that we are trying to tell you to believe it too and understand it further, we say. For we will continue to send this your way if it is something that you wish to understand too and that is important for your life journey. So during the awakening, what is not common to most humans in their typical day-to-day is now open up to you, those who are awakening of synchronicity too. This is the primary means to send you messages of importance today, but do not go looking for them, for you will only work yourself into a frenzy of searching in the 3D. So just gently let yourself take in the messages, and we will make sure that you find a way to see what we wish for you that is right in front of you. Putting the pieces together, we say. First and foremost, journaling them can often be a very memorable way of keeping track of what we send to you today. Many of you, though, can keep in mind what you have been given, and often past lives will come in your way. You may not understand them, it is true, but if we wish you to know about your past lives, you will see a patterned response, we say. And often, as you grow through the awakening further, your signs and messages will become more complex. For you will start understanding, too, how you can connect with synchronicity and how we communicate with you. For there are common ways we speak to everyone in their day, particularly the numbers, we say. And then synchronicity comes along, and how we send messages and patterns and stories to each of you can be different in your way, depending on how each of you communicate and what would be most appropriate for each of you as an individual, picking up on signs and messages in different ways, we say too. So know that as you travel in time, this great awakening you will find pieces of the puzzle come your way. Do not discount them, and then you can ask for more messages in your way. For if one receives a sign that they feel is so true, but still doubts it, and is not sure if they know what they are seeing, ask your guides and angels to send another synchronicity your way. Something else that will offer you a way to understand that the first message was real and true. We hear you, yes we do, and then just sit back and live your life, we say. And when we want you to see something, it will come your way. Observations in time, pieces of the puzzle of complex stories will unwind as you move further on your journey. For we understand whether you are moving forward in understanding synchronicity today and how we communicate with you. For this is the primary means, as we have said, of how your angels and guides and your higher self lead you today and communicate. For so many of you wonder how you can connect with your spirit team and your higher self. Know that you can speak out too, and signs and messages will likely come to you through the art of synchronicity. Just trust it and know it. Always ask if you are wandering in your way. This again is the primary means that we will continue to follow throughout your awakening, sometimes waning in your way, for we give you breaks in communication. And at times the human too is not tuned in, feeling very 3D too. This is part of the journey. Do not beat yourself up, but just know that at another point in the day, as you journey further, synchronicity will continue to knock on your door to help you begin to create a more full story of your soul journeys in your way. So that is the channel on synchronicity today. So for me, synchronicity has been honestly the most magical part of this journey. It has always felt to me as though I am being communicated with when I get synchronicity, whether it's my higher self, my guides, my angels, my team. Okay, that's who I call them. So when I get synchronicity, oh my gosh, I get so just tickled. And you can argue that the numbers aren't synchronicity, that they're just, continued affirmations that you are not alone or downloads. But I consider them synchronicity because lots of times what they'll do is they'll show up after something else I know, and then there'll be a confirmation. So lots of times numbers might be a synchronicity for you, but they get more interesting as you travel on your journey and you start to understand synchronicity. It helps put, so they're showing me a puzzle pieces, and I think they said this. It helps put the pieces of the puzzle together for whatever that thing is they're wanting you to understand. Okay, now, it it comes without effort on our part, is what I have found. I mean, I don't go out looking for, give me signs and messages and patterns, and I'm going to search for them, because guess what? You're not going to find them that way. I actually tried that. In my early journey, oh my gosh, I felt like I was trying to make things up, trying to make my own messages up. I could feel it. It was just awful. And then I realized that's not how this works. We just have to go about our lives, continuing to work in the awakening ways, as in, following that journey, and they will come to us in many ways. Now, there are a few things I want to comment on that some of these they mentioned, but I really want to be able to frame this up more fully. Past lives, for me, that is one of the specialties I have with respect to the work that I actually do in my business, Purple Rain Healing. So when I work with people, past lives come through, and then they start clearing them. Well, when these past lives are identified, what I tell these folks is very likely you're going to start seeing synchronicity afterwards, because it's one thing for them to bring through in a channeled session a brand new life, something that can be very far out lots of times. And what the goal is for the human to believe it, to understand it, to realize it. And so oftentimes synchronicity is brought for us to go, oh my gosh, I can't discount this. This is real. I can't discount this. Oh my gosh, this is real. And then you start getting more patterned responses. So with past lives, what will often happen is I get the detail on the life, and you will too, as you journey through the awakening. Lots of you start figuring out past lives, or can. What will happen then is you will start seeing things come through and this is where it's come through for me, books, um, TV, although I don't watch a lot of TV, but when I do, oh my gosh, synchronicity shows up to something I've already got an inkling of, then just builds on the story. Even to the point where if you are identified as a particular person in a past life, which does happen on occasion, can actually get down to a true individual that we can find in history. People start getting, and I've had this happen with myself, people can start getting signs and messages led to books to read on this person. All of a sudden they're in their awareness, or led to something on TV, a story about this person. So that's if they're historical figures. I have found that to happen where people get it in their face basically after finding out that they have a past life. So again, it's a piece of the puzzle designed to help you as the human believe that these things are real and true. Synchronicity can also come in people we meet, in things they say. What I have also found is sometimes people will be put in your way and say things to you that they might not even remember they said, but they are there in the moment to say something to you, to activate in you a, I don't want to say a memory, but actually that synchronicity for you to go, oh my gosh, they just said this, and I have this as a pattern in the recent weeks, and that ties to this, and it helps tell my story. It helps reinforce, again, synchronicity helps reinforce what our higher self and spirit team is trying to inform us of. And I have found most synchronicity to show up when I am to move forward in something like my business as I was building out Purple Rain Healing. Synchronicity was all over the place. And this then is designed for you to kind of follow in the footsteps. It's like the yellow brick road of the Wizard of Oz. So synchronicity can often be put down as a stepping stone for you to go, oh, I see. Okay, they're saying, yeah, go forward. Keep going. And you'll get these patterned responses that essentially are stepping stones that are related to each other that can actually build out the most amazing story for you as we tune into synchronicity. Now, tuning into synchronicity, first of all, as I mentioned, is about not forcing it, not like going looking for it and finding it, thinking you're going to find it because you're searching for it. That is not how synchronicity works. Synchronicity, as you know, many of you already know, it's just bam in your face. It is in your face and you can't miss it for the life of you. But the trick of it is, honestly, putting the piece together, understanding what that synchronicity is telling us. Now, it's one thing if it's a person, like I used in my example of the past life, identifying a specific individual that you were. That's pretty obvious because they're typically going to show you that person again in some, documentary or a book or whatever, or online. It's going to pop up in your feed. But another way that I find that synchronicity can come to us is through music. Lots of times music will be a way to send you a message and to be able to add to the story of what you are already receiving. So as you start getting patterns in your day-to-day of certain things, it could be, like I said, music, it could be any kind of sign or message, start looking for the patterns and writing those down, as I mentioned, journaling them. Now, I know it's kind of hard to go back and look and see, but we're not going to remember most of the things that we run into during the course of our awakening journey. And I don't know if you're like me, as we're moving through this ascension, our memory gets worse, all right? And we're living more in the now moment as we continue to move through the awakening. And it's very hard to remember past, and we don't think much about the future. Okay, we're really here. So the past is hard to remember. So journal your pattern messages and signs. Because then you can go back when you get triggered again for another synchronicity and you can say, oh, wait a minute, this tells me this and it ties to this, and now my story is more robust. Another thing I have found, and this just, oh my gosh, this just tickles me. And this had to do, well, it's happened a few times, but I'm trying to give you the specific example. Oh, I know what it was. I had identified a particular life for actually a friend, and it came in a moment of really interesting awareness, and again, historical figure that they had lived the life of in the past. But I was kind of like, because it was a big life, and I was like, here's the human me doubting, which I don't always do that, but this was earlier on in my journey. I was like, okay, before I tell this person, I need you, spirit team, to bring me a synchronicity, bring me another sign and message, because essentially synchronicity comes through signs and messages. And within, I'm not kidding you, within 2 to 3 days, I had an in my face verification of who this person was, and that it was the person that I had thought originally. And so your spirit team will help you with this, okay? If you're looking to try to understand something that you have as a knowing, or that you're putting pieces together, ask your spirit team for help, and then don't go searching for it. Just sit back, kick back. You might also get synchronicity in your dreams. This is fascinating. Now, I'm not one that this happens to. I don't remember my dreams much, so I can't speak to this from personal experience, but I know that some people will get synchronicity parts of the puzzle and often their full-blown story through their dreams. Other ways is meditation. It's a fantastic way to get synchronicity. I actually had this happen where I had an indication of, again, I'm using past lives as my synchronicity because that's really where I spend a lot of my time, is identifying past lives. And I've identified some for myself through meditation. But needless to say, I had an inkling of an indigenous life, and that was pretty profound. Needless to say, I said to them, okay, I need some kind of understanding of the detail of this. If you will do this for me and send me synchronicity my way and some kind of pattern that I can understand if this is real. Oh my gosh. Now, I don't see in my meditation, I don't see pictures when I meditate that much. I do now more. I didn't in my early days. So when this came through in my early days, it was incredible. It was actually the visual scenery of this location where I had my indigenous life. Turns out it's in Upper Michigan. It's an Ojibwe life. I can't even pronounce the name of the falls, so I'm not even going to try. I saw the picture in my mind's eye. I never saw pictures before. I saw a robust picture, and then I started to investigate this, and they also said where the Great Waters fall, and this was what it was called in the day by the indigenous, the Native Americans. So anyway, my point in that is I got another synchronicity. I had another sign and message to put with my original story, and then I'm starting able to build out that story of my journey in that life. And so it was profound enough that I was able to actually go visit. I actually went up to Michigan and I visited those exact falls. And when I came upon them, I thought I was going to fall over. I mean, I had looked at pictures of them online and was blown away with what I saw. But to be there, it was just cellularly amazing. I could feel it throughout my whole body that I had actually lived there. So you may come across that. So again, I'm using past lives as my example with synchronicity, but synchronicity will come for so many reasons. Things you're supposed to do in your journey, or that are opportunities in your journey, like mine, building out my business. Oh my gosh, it was all synchronistic. I mean, I could go on and on to tell you magical stories and spend, another hour doing that about how it came in my business. But what happened with me is I was keen enough to understand that, oh, these are coming my way. Okay, know that. They will come your way. Oh, when they come my way, don't just blow them off and think that they're just a coincidence, because there are no coincidences. Write them down and understand them the best you can. And then, if you want, ask for more synchronicity. Ask to understand it. If you don't feel you have the whole story or the full belief in it and the understanding, ask for more, and you'll be surprised at what you get. So I hope you have enjoyed this today. And as I leave you today, I again want to remind you of the work that I do that offers you distance energy healing, spiritual awakening, mentoring, and channeled messages. I would love to work with you. So check out my services on purplerainhealing.com if you are looking for more information and guidance on your awakening journey. So thank you so much for joining me in this video, and I will see you in the next one.